life is completely unpredictable. And you know, another way that we kind of stress ourselves out is actually trying to predict the future. And the thing is because our brains are so hardwired to focus on the negative, what happens is we tend to create a lot of negative predictions of the future. It's what I call the negative fortune telling. You know, like when you stand there and you stress yourself out or other people out by saying you know exactly how this is gonna go, and it ain't gonna be pretty. Do we have any fortune tellers in the group here today? Oh yes, yes. Beware of when you start walking around lugging that crystal ball. We tend to, for some reason, predict a lot of negative things about our future, even though anything could happen. Oh yeah, for some reason. We just love the fortune telling. All those negative predictions. I used to actually work in a human resources office in the Ontario government. That's a really long story. One that I'm not going to get into today, but it's true. For 5 years, I worked in this HR office in the Ontario government, and I worked with a lot of fortune tellers. Oh yeah, there's so many times where my coworkers would stress themselves out and just stress everybody else out by telling themselves exactly how it's going to go, and it ain't going to be pretty. Oh yeah, like inevitably on a Monday morning, one of my coworkers would be like, racing around the office, all stressed out, saying, "This week is going to be insane." It's Monday morning. How do you know that? Come on. It's still all up for grabs, isn't it? It's all unknown. It's really like not only does it create stress, but it's actually a lot of limited thinking. Challenge your limited thinking about the day, about the week, about the future. Because there's infinite possibilities of what's going to happen. And when we get out our crystal ball and we start telling ourselves that we know exactly how it's going to go and we know, it ain't going to be pretty, basically it's also about looking out at all those infinite possibilities and narrowing it down to one option. Yeah. Like, I remember on a Friday morning, so typically one of my coworkers would be sitting there at her desk, all stressed out, saying, "I am never going to get all this done by the end of the day. I'm going to have to work all weekend." I'm like, it's 9 a.m. Give yourself a shot, honey. You don't know you just don't know. Because you don't know, anything is possible. There's lightness in realizing how much we don't know about the future. Right? And how many times has life surprised you? Oh, but you can easily forget how surprising life is because we get out our crystal balls so easily. Oh yeah, I'd say probably the most typical negative fortune-telling moment that I would witness is somebody in the office would say, "This meeting is going to be a total waste of time." Now that one usually ended up to be true. Right? Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating than leaving a meeting that could have been an email. Okay? Man, that is frustrating. So be careful when you get out your crystal ball, right? I mean, it can easily happen. Like a few weeks ago, I was out for a run, and it's important for you to know that when I went out for my run that day, I was wearing a little pair of shorts, little tank top, little Lululemon ensemble. It's important to the story, but you're also very welcome for that visual that's now in your head forever. Anyway, so I'm going out for a run, and I'm running down this one road, and I noticed that about 200 yards in front of me, there was this group of 7 or 8 teenage boys. What do you call that? That's a gaggle or a herd? A herd. So I'm looking out at this herd of teenage boys, and I realize my fate, that in a few moments, I am going to have to jog in my little outfit, jog around this group of teenage boys, and then jog in front of them, giving them the shot, the booty shot, as I run in front of them. So there was no sidewalk on the other side of the road, so I was locked in. So I start jogging, I'm approaching them, and you know when you get that feeling of dread? Because you know exactly how this is gonna go. So I'm jogging, and I'm preparing for the derogatory remarks. I'm gearing up for the sexist comments. Oh, I could just hear the cat calls if I was lucky. Right, but basically, like I knew this was not gonna go well, So now I'm jogging while lugging a crystal ball. Basically, that's what I'm telling you. So it was like a little, like CrossFit, And any joy that you get from jogging, the little shred of joy that you get from jogging, it's gone because now I have anxiety. Anytime we're stressed out about the future, it creates anxiety, okay? Yeah. So I'm coming close to them and I'm totally freaking out, just full of anxiety. And then the moment comes. And I jog around the teenage boys and then I jog in front of them, giving them the shot. And at first there was silence. And then out of the blue, one of the teenage boys yells out, "I believe in you." And then, like a herd of teenage girls, they all just cheered me on. They're like, "Woohoo!" I jogged away, I looked back, I said, "I believe in you too." Right? So how many times do we look out at our future, our unknown future, like that herd of teenage boys? And how many times does life surprise us? How many times does life look nothing like that prediction? How many times does life actually end up to be far more uplifting than we ever expected? Challenge not only those negative stories, those made-up tales in our head about the future, those negative predictions, but challenge those limited thoughts. It's limited thinking. Because you don't know what's going to happen, anything is possible. See if you can put down your crystal ball and live in the mystery. Live in the mystery.